As the new and improved Carnage threatens to tear apart New York City, will Miles Morales be forced to turn enemy into friend? Well, let's hop into the pages of Miles Morales Spider-Man, issue number 6, the next part of the Carnage Reigns crossover event, and find out what happens next together, shall we? Alrighty then, so even though this issue is actually a sequel to the events of what happened in Carnage Reigns Alpha, we actually step back in time and actually get to see what became of Miles after his battle with the Rabble. Miles and his parents have been moved into a new house thanks to Misty Knight, his brand new friend and mentor, and Miles is even trying much harder than he was previously in his schoolwork. Again, his run-in with the Rabble and the realization that other people might have made better use of his position at this prestigious school clearly rubbing off on Miles. It's while mending fences with his best friend Genki did Miles end up hearing about strange happenings at the orphanage that just so happened to house a young CLETUS Kasady back in the day. Miles had gone to investigate, and if you read the Alpha issue, then you already know what happens next. Our young Spider-Man ended up getting ambushed by a new and improved Carnage exhibiting brand new powers never shown before, as well as briefly teaming up with Matt Gargan the Scorpion. Miles was ultimately able to deliver a decisive blow to Carnage, seemingly defeating him. Only in doing so, Miles ended up bringing an entire building down on top of him and Gargan. They survived, but their situation has gone from bad to worse. A, no one actually knows they're down there right now, and B, this place is slowly but surely filling with water thanks to a busted main. Worse still, even though Scorpion and Spider-Man had teamed up to fight Carnage when their lives depended on it, now they're not exactly sure if they're on the same page right now. Miles just kind of assumed if they worked together to start, they'd have to keep working together moving forward. Scorpion actually saves Miles from some falling debris, only to say that Agent Gao, his newest paymaster, only wants Miles if he's in one piece and not squashed. It's while trying to escape, the two end up discovering a pinned EMT worker. Naturally, Miles, being the Spider-Man hero that he is, wants to save their lives, but Gargan, actually showing a fair amount of intelligence for once, says that they would be better off leaving her. After all, Miles has already seen that new Carnage can actually shapeshift and possess individuals, so there's no telling they're not just rescuing Carnage. Still though, all of this is just going to have to be a risk that Miles is willing to take. Topside, Agent Gao really starts to feel the heat. She doesn't think that blast killed Carnage, and with CLETUS Kasady in the breeze and her being the most senior agent on site, it's going to be her who gets shoot out for it later. Worse still, Scorpion, who she believed to be her own ace in the hole, is actively working with Spider-Man, the person that she has an Ahab-esque obsession with. And if Gargan isn't going to do his job, it looks like Gao is going to have to call in the other members of her little pet project, but more on that in a minute. Back down in the tunnels, Miles and Gargan actually end up finding yet another pinned person, this time one of Gao's own personal agents, showing that not only is Miles as Spider-Man heroic, not only is he willing to do the right thing, but hell, the kid doesn't even hold grudges for very long. After much thinking and tinkering, Spider-Man figures that he can use the power of Scorpion's tail to blast themselves to safety, but the only way they're going to do that is if Gargan is willing to trust him, which is easier said than done. A little bit of Scorpion rodeo later and the plan actually works. Miles and his party find their way back to the surface, only for him to be arrested by Gao. Obviously, Spider-Man thinks this is stupid. He's moved heaven and earth all night to try and save people, including Gao's own agents. Also, if Carnage did survive, which he almost certainly did, Miles is their best lead for bringing him down. A fact of which even Gargan himself can't deny, and in a surprise twist, we see the Scorpion actually taking up for Spider-Man in the argument. Of course, Carnage absolutely did survive, and he shows off one of his brand new powers, Possession, taking control of the rescued agent and turning him against Miles and the others. Spider-Man puts up a valiant effort, but remember, he just had a whole building dropped on top of him, so he's not exactly in fighting shape right now. Luckily, it's at that very moment Gao's reinforcements arrive. In the last issue, I joked that she was basically putting together her own off-brand version of the Thunderbolts to do her bidding. Well, guess what? We actually see some Thunderbolts mainstays like Taskmaster, the Lady Electro, and a few others as part of a brand new outfit called, get this, the Cape Killers. Which is hilarious for a number of reasons, not the least of which being that Miles is Agent Gao's white whale and he doesn't even wear a cape, and two, she's supposed to be a cop arresting all of these superheroes for breaking New York's vigilante laws, and yet here she's assembled a whole group of supervillains called Killers. If nothing else though, these reinforcements do manage to make short work of the possessed Scott. not the real Carnage, of course, having escaped. As the comic comes to a close, we see Carnage talking to Kenneth, his toady, saying that before he gets back in the action and takes the fight to Miles, he's going to have to rebuild his suit. And so that was Miles Morales Spider-Man issue number 6, everyone, and overall I thought it was fine, just fine. I was kind of worried that this book might lose its momentum as it jumped from its first inaugural arc right into a big crossover event. And well, to this book and Cody Ziegler's credit, this story actually does deal more with Miles and Scorpion and Agent Gao characters who are already interacting and at odds with each other before Carnage Reigns started. I just couldn't help but feel like the event is already starting to run in place and it's just began. They tried to put this new and improved Carnage over as an unstoppable threat, only he was stopped. They try and play up the whole horror paranormal angle because you never know who Carnage is going to possess and when, and he could be right behind you and you wouldn't know. But clearly these hijacked bodies must not be that strong if the Thunderbolt B Squad can take them out. We're also 2 issues in and we still don't exactly know what Carnage's big all-encompassing crossover plan is. I mean, he's Carnage, he's not known for big over-the-top plans. I'm sure it is something akin to, I don't know, raise hell wherever he can. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't like a little bit more direction. Again, what's good about this book continues to be good. Cody Ziegler has a really good handle on Miles's voice and internal monologue. It's cool to see Miles teamed up with classic Spider-Man foes who don't get near enough to do anymore, like Scorpion, and even seeming that Miles is getting Scorpion to warm up to him is all good stuff, but I was falling in love with this book because of the balance that it was able to strike between Miles' superhero life and his personal life. Because this is a big event story, it's almost all entirely super life stuff. Which again, is not bad, but certainly could be better. Overall, I would give this one a 7 out of 10 though, and I am interested to see where the rest of the story is going to go from here.
Hey there everyone, Kate Joel again, and I just want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. It means a lot to me. And hey, if you enjoyed the book I covered in this issue and want some comics of your own, might I recommend Book Depository? It's my #1 place for shopping for comic book trades. You get a great price, and if you use my link down in the description, you'll actually be helping me out at the same time. You get something, I get something, everybody wins, right? So until next time everyone, I've been Joel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.